Listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nacello on RiverBender.com.
Because love grows where my rosemary goes, and nobody knows like me.
Welcome back. Don't mind me. I was just kind of going over interview prep. We're running a little bit behind this Friday morning. 9:49, Katie Piper in studio today. How are we?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm excited about this. I was telling people, being at Lewis and Clark and playing soccer the year I did, traveling. My dad teaches over there. We have the most beautiful landscape, really, in as far as I'm concerned, in community colleges and like the state. I mean,
I may be a bit biased, but I agree with you.
I kept telling people, I'm like, you go to, all these other places, which I'm sure have some cool components to them, but they just don't have that Lewis and Clark look to them. And now we have a chance to celebrate that in a couple of days. Fill us in.
Absolutely, yes. So we are really excited to celebrate this year with our Garden Festival. Next Thursday, September 14th at 5:30 until 8 p.m., we are celebrating this year's garden show, which is the Discover the Monticello Sculpture Gardens. And so we are going to have this great event. It's family friendly. We are inviting everyone to come out and just celebrate with us.
That's going to be so fun. And, the Monticello, take us through how much work it really takes to really get those, gardens looking the way they are, because there's a lot of components to that, a lot of different type of, plants and a lot of different species. How are you guys able to kind of put all that together?
Well, so there are two of us that work at Lewis and Clark full time, and then we have some contractors that come in and help us with the heavy lifting, of course. But our campus is 215 acres. A lot of that is like woodlands and trails, but the center of campus, as you know, is very large. And so we have many perennial gardens, but then we also have 8 pocket gardens that we change out every year, and those require like quite a bit of maintenance. So it's full time, year round. In the winter, we're out there pruning, and there's work all the time. So it takes a lot of effort.
Well, and too, on top, how long have you been with your job at Lewis and Clark?
So I've been at Lewis and Clark for 5 years, and I've been designing the gardens for the past 3.
And now, with that being said, have the gardens changed a lot in their overall look, their overall layouts in those 5 years?
Probably not a lot in the past 5 years. I think the biggest difference is we are changing some of the gardens that have been annuals, which means like we replace those plants every single year, to more sustainable gardens. And that's kind of the way that a lot of botanical gardens are going. We're trying to make sure we plant natives and things that are lower maintenance, require less fertilizer and water, and are better for our environment, so our pollinators and local wildlife.
Well, I wondered why I had such problems. I said, I'm going to plant a honeysuckle shrine, and just,
gosh,
that's what I was told. No, that morning glories, can't get rid of those either.
That's true.
But I just think it's so cool to have such a unique spot, really, in Godfrey that has, beautiful gardens that this next week will be open to the public, and I'm sure you can still probably walk through them if you wanted to.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's your day-to-day look like? Is it getting up early and, does the watering process start first? How does that kind of look too?
Yeah, so watering is kind of number one, especially over, July and August.
The 140-degree day,
Exactly, yes. And so I go in extra early on those days, so I don't, need as much water myself as well. And so, it usually starts with getting everything watered, every other day-ish with some plants. We have a lot of irrigation systems, but much of it is hand watering as well. And then
really?
Yeah.
That's actually surprising to me.
Some spots you can't really hook up irrigation to, so we still are out there with our hoses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and what's your favorite part about this whole process of getting the gardens ready? Is it, picking out those plants? Is it, the layout of it? Is it the maintenance? What does it for you?
Yeah. Well, the design process is always really fun because that starts early in the year. So that typically starts in December and January. We're picking out our plants and starting to design the garden. So that really is nice in those cold winter months to be thinking about the summer ahead. But then I would say the other favorite part of my job is getting to share the gardens with people. So we love it when people come out and take tours, or just when I see students taking pictures and like stopping for a moment to appreciate them. That's probably the top part of my job.
And before Lewis and Clark, what was your background leading up to that?
Yeah, so I have a degree in ornamental horticulture, and I moved to this area about 8 years ago, and I kind of had my own little thing going. But then up north, I worked for a large company, and we did design and installation and stuff like
Really
that
cool.
too. Yeah.
Man, Lewis and Clark got lucky.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if anyone wants an endorsement for a raise, I'll give you one.
Well, all right,
there we
thanks.
go. But with that being said, take us through this. So from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Lewis and Clark Godfrey campus, take us through some of the amenities, some of the things that we can do on the Garden
Yes.
Festival.
Yeah, so our whole gardens will be open, and you can take a self-guided tour. We'll have maps on campus for you, and then also some sidewalk chalk kind of leading you around so
Right
you know where
on.
to stop. And we will have food and beverages available. We're going to have a local band, Soulshine Groove. They will be there playing classic rock, and so that's going to be really fun. We're going to have a lot of like seating and some blankets out, some lawn games hanging out. So if you want to just come and enjoy the band, it'll be the perfect location for that.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then this is fun for the whole family because there will be a caricature artist there. There will be a living wall, or I'm sorry, in front of our living wall, which is probably our top
So
garden.
cool. I have so many questions on that wall, but I'll let you finish first.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's the #1 garden, and it's our, we call it our no filter garden because it's the best spot for selfies, right? It's like the perfect backdrop.
Right on.
So we're going to have a photo booth there for you to come and, get your props on and take some photos in front of. Rudy's flower truck will be there handing out stems to our guests. And then we're also going to have like some student-led garden activities where you can come and do a little make and take something home with you.
That's really cool. And really a great way for the family to kind of enjoy. Really right now, this weekend is so full of events, and next weekend
Yeah.
kind of looking a little bit lighter. So this is kind of cool. Let the hair down, bring the kids out.
Absolutely. And the weather's going to be perfect.
It really is.
Yeah.
I am excited for this. Well, what I think's cool too is just the way that you really tie in all the areas of the campus because it is large.
Yes.
And I'm sure it can be very easy to kind of just forget about certain sections and not really forget about them, but not find a way to kind of bring it all together. Is that layout always in your guys' mind too of going, well, we have something over here similar, so why don't we do this to try to tie in, to this garden? Does that happen at all?
Absolutely, yeah. And, like as far as our student population goes, often, they're maybe just going to the nursing building or
Yeah.
someone's just going to this side of campus.
Right.
So we like to, try to do things that make students and the people that are visiting the campus visit other areas because there is so much to see. And for this event specifically, we are spreading things throughout the garden.
Really
so
cool.
not everything is concentrated. You have to walk a little bit to go to, these different festivities that are happening, and by doing that, you will get to see different parts of the campus.
I'm not doing scooter rentals on Thursday. You gotta watch. But I really think it's so cool because people, I think whenever you have something that's really nice and it's just kind of there and it's there, you overlook it sometimes, not intentionally, but just
Sure.
because you don't really look at the good, you look at the bad. But
Yeah.
it's beautiful, and just the way it feels, the way it looks, that ambience in certain sections. But I want to
Thank you.
ask you about this wall because I'm fascinated by the idea of
Yeah.
this. How is this even possible? This is so unique.
It is really unique, and you see, like, I'm seeing them more and more pop up, but it is, so we've built a wooden frame, and attached to them are these things called woolly pockets. And so they are bags made of recycled plastic that just get attached to the wall, and then we fill them with soil, and we just line them up against the wall and then plant them with flowers, and they fill out and spill, and it creates just a massive blooms against a wall.
That's just incredible. Is that one of your favorite features?
Oh yeah. And it's always the funnest to design too, because it's kind of a challenging garden because it's in the shade, and it doesn't get any water. So we always have to hand water it. And since it's in the shade, we have to use shade-loving plants, but we want to use bright colors to make it pop too. So
Is that hard to find?
It's not hard to find. It just, it takes a little bit of planning to mix it up year after year and, to just stay creative with it.
Well, and what I think's cool is it seems like the college as a whole really rallies behind the gardens, the landscaping of this. And take us through that support system that you guys have to make sure that, we're able to keep making this look even more beautiful than the year before.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I feel very fortunate that,
Yeah.
the just the whole team at Lewis and Clark really does embrace the gardens, and they understand that they are important, because when you step foot onto campus, that when you're deciding whether or not you want to go somewhere, it's the first few minutes that you do decide where you are going to go. And so the Lewis and Clark Foundation they are the ones who sponsor the show. So they purchase, the annuals and stuff. So luckily we have that foundation supporting us, and they really help us put on the show every year.
That's incredible. And on top of that, throughout the last couple of months, I think I kept seeing the walking tours taking place.
Yes.
Are those still taking place, or are those done until the Garden Festival?
Yeah, no, they are. They're open. Ideally, the next couple of weeks I'm going to be busy until the garden show.
Please wait.
So please wait. Yeah, but no, that is open all season. So we recommend June through, the end of September are the best times to view our gardens. But we offer walking tours at any time. We'll do a garden tour for you for free. You can just contact us via email, and we'll be happy to get that set up. And you can also do a self-guided tour if you
wow.
want. So you can just stop at this campus safety building, and they'll give you a map, and you can take a stroll around and find out the gardens on your own.
2 segues from that. How long's the walking tour?
It's about a mile. If you follow, the map, it's about a mile.
Really
but,
cool.
it kind of depends on how long you like to stop and smell the flowers.
I was about ready to say, you beat me to it. All right, that's fine. Well, and, there's so many different components to this. And I really just love the idea of, the Monticello Sculpture Gardens and what you guys do. And I had a really great question that I just forgot about, but I'll figure it out. What I really want to circle back to, though, is on Thursday, September the 14th at 5:30 p.m. till 8 p.m. This is the Garden Festival, rightly named Discover Monticello Sculpture Gardens.
Absolutely.
With this new branding of Lewis and Clark. I think it's great because, even though there's so many of us that have gone to Lewis and Clark or maybe are thinking about it, there's so much more to really discover about this great campus.
Yes.
And then overall, whenever you're getting ready for this Garden Festival, what do you look forward to the most? Is it the people? Is it being able just to showcase all of your hard work that summer? What does it for you?
Yeah, it's kind of the culmination. There's so much build up to it and so much preparation, and it's amazing to see so many people on campus at once, like enjoying all the hard work that we've put into it. So,
Yeah.
to really see people smile and to enjoy it is my favorite part.
Without a doubt. And my question I forgot about because I was being nosy and looked at your sheet over there. There is something circled called Gateway to the West. Correct? Did I read that upside down?
Yes, you did.
I have started to read teleprompters, you see that? Picking it up. Take me through this. So I was kind of fascinated. I saw this circled. I don't know if it ties in, but I think it's always kind of cool to touch on certain topics.
Yeah, so our theme is Discover Monticello Sculpture Gardens. And so every pocket garden, we have 7 of them. We kind of tie into that theme and give it a title related to it, and then design the garden around that title.
Wow.
And so the Gateway to the West is at our Hathaway West entrance. And so that garden there, we kept it very simple, and that garden is all about texture and a minimal color palette. That entrance there is the entrance to our art gallery too. So we always like to kind of go, I don't know, maybe a little bit funkier or unique in that garden. And so this one I think is really cool. We have some unique plants in there, but it is very, I just wanted to showcase how much you can do with texture and a minimal color scheme.
Well, and I find that so fascinating. So I didn't tell you this. Like a summer, I thought I was going to be the next gardener.
Oh, nice.
I felt it in my soul,
Okay,
Katie.
yeah.
I thought, here we go. I planted morning glories, which was my first mistake. I will never recommend that to anybody that doesn't know how to take care of plants because they were all over the place. They're still growing, and I think they followed me to my new house.
They may have, yeah.
Well, I did that, but I planted sunflowers and all this, and then this darn thunderstorm came and knocked down my 11-footer. I had an 11-foot sun. Oh, it was huge. And I don't know what I was feeding it, but it was huge. And, ever since then I thought, man, maybe there's more to this gardening thing than just putting plants in. It's making sure that you find the right look to it, the right texture. So it doesn't have to be all big plants, even though I'm, go big or go home.
Hey, I'm with you. I love big plants as well.
Is there one that's more difficult for you to work with than any others on the campus right now?
So this year we have dahlias on campus, and we haven't planted them before. And they do require a bit more work and staking and pruning. It's a bit more of a fussy annual. So that one,
I like it. fussy annual. But you know what's not fussy is the annual garden festival. Discover
right.
Monticello Sculpture Gardens this coming Thursday. Caught myself. September the 14th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. Katie, thank you so much for stopping by. I think this is such a cool thing, and all the hard work that you guys do, seriously, to keep this campus beautiful is such a treat. And I think that's what helps make Lewis and Clark Lewis and Clark.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, and I hope to see as many people as possible there.
And what's the best way for more up-to-date information on the festival?
So Lewis and Clark's website or the Facebook page, I guess. We're going to be posting updates there, so follow along.
Perfect. Katie Piper, thank you so much for your time. We'll take a quick break. It's 10:04. We don't have time for top of the hour news, but we have time for another guest. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of your Friday morning in downtown Alton.